Madeline G, and welcome to another installment of Ride With Me. Every single day we get bombarded with all sorts of distractions and nonsense from the White House, whether it's concerning Nordstrom's dropping Ivanka Trump's brand, a 19-second handshake with the Prime Minister of Japan, Trump posting a fake Abraham Lincoln quote, or being upset over Melissa Badass McCarthy playing Sean Spicer on SNL. It seems as though Trump sits in front of the TV all day and watches just about anything with his face on it, then tweets about it. His behavior and temperament, not just with his incessant tweeting, but decision-making, has raised numerous questions about his mental health. Joining me today to tackle this very topic is progressive talk and radio show host David Pakman of the David Pakman Show. Hi, David, and thank you for joining us.
It's so great to be with you.
You have been covering Trump for quite some time, and we all want to know, since recently Al Franken mentioned that some Republican members of the Senate are concerned about his mental health. What do you make of that?
Well, my first reaction was, well, yeah. I mean, it's completely unsurprising in a sense. I mean, the interesting revelation to me from what Al Franken said, which initially I think it was on the Bill Maher show, sort of as an aside, and then he was interviewed about it in a sort of more serious manner on CNN, is the idea that there are lots of Republicans who are sort of hanging in there with Trump for now, maybe even as long as 2018, so that they can not impact their reelection, but that there's this growing movement that's questioning what on earth is going on with Donald Trump, just increasing instability, a lack of attention span, to the point where now we've heard that what were one-page bulleted lists have to be reduced to single page with mostly maps and pictures and only a few bullet points if you want Trump to pay any attention to it. So yeah, I mean, it's not at all surprising to me.
This kind of reminds me of Charlie Sheen from 2.5 Men. Little bit. Charlie Sheen-esque, #winning. Kind of segueing into that, which you touched upon, that Trump is known for having a wild imagination. Some might say that of a 5-year-old, or he's a bit delusional because he makes stuff up. Now, Bernie Sanders mentioned that he's a pathological liar. So how much longer do you believe it's going to take before we actually see steps towards hearings on his impeachment?
I've talked about this on my program a lot. Even if as sort of rational people, you and I could look at, I don't know, like the emoluments clause of the Constitution and say, okay, a sort of reasonable reading of that suggests that Donald Trump may be in violation of that aspect of the Constitution because of his business conflicts of interest. That doesn't automatically trigger anything. It doesn't automatically do anything. And in my personal life, a lot of people keep saying to me, Trump did X. How is he getting away with it? What's happening? And I have to explain to them that the law is relevant if there's somebody there to enforce it. And with a Republican House and Senate, it's not clear that they're ready or willing to enforce the law. And so I think that the answer to your question really lies in who that is in power is going to be the first to take a step along these lines. And I don't know what the answer to that is.
What advice do you give people who kind of wake up in the morning and they feel like they're going nuts and bananas over what's happening? Kind of living in the twilight zone, if you may. So what advice do you have for these people where they feel as though they're just bombarded with so much that's coming out of the White House that some people even feel paralyzed?
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking to a lot of people who just, every day they wake up and they start to pay attention to what news there is, and it's sort of a combination of fear and anxiety every single day. And producing a daily news show, it's not that different for me, where I wonder, the night before I'll review what stories am I looking at for the next day, and then I'll wake up and sometimes the entire show is changed because of something Donald Trump did at 3, 4, or 5 in the morning. My advice is, number one, this only applies to some of the people that are watching. If you live in a blue state with a blue legislature, relatively progressive legislature, kind of like where I am in Massachusetts, other than the Republican governor, although it's certainly a sort of decaffeinated Republican in a sense, in Charlie Baker, if you're in a progressive state, you are somewhat protected from the insanity that is the Donald Trump administration, but that only goes so far. Even a lot of state programs depend on federal funding, which Donald Trump could cut, etc. I think that for people who are interested in being activists, and hopefully most progressives are because they see what's going on, I've been on my program talking about the really specific ways that individuals can get involved. I mean, we have 2 governor's races in 2017. The midterms are not that far away. The 2020 census is going to be a big part of fixing gerrymandering, which is an absolute disaster that helps Republicans win in the House and has for several elections now. So I think focusing on what can be done and how to get involved is a good way forward.
Well, David, it was a pleasure speaking to you today. To catch David daily, check out the link to his channel below. You don't want to miss it. He'll keep you sane. Folks, many of us are aware that we're in uncharted territory. Most mornings, I roll out of bed and I think, is this really still happening? So I turn on my phone, I look at the news, and I realize, yep, it is. So I go back to bed again. So basically, my productivity level is right up here right now. Okay, look, I may be the only one who's going crazy, but I don't think so. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think that Trump is in the right mental state to be president of the United States? Let me know. Comment below. Well, folks, that's it for me. I'm Madeline G, and you've been watching Ride With Me. Till next time. Good night. Hey guys, for more satire and comedy, please hit the subscribe button. You'll be glad you did. Or not. I mean, I can't really guarantee that, but what the hell? Just do it. It's free. I mean, why not, right?